Hey everyone, welcome back to Corporate Decoder, the place where we decode the complex world of business and finance with a little bit of investigative flair. Today we're diving into a really interesting shake-up at Lottery.com Incorporated, and let's just say things are changing fast. Before we get into the nitty-gritty, if you find value in breaking down these corporate filings, make sure you hit that subscribe button and join our growing community. We also have a fantastic Discord channel linked in the description below where we discuss these reports and more. Scroll date of report date of earliest event reported, the 30th of November 2025 scroll. So, what is the big news from Lottery.com Incorporated? It looks like there has been a pretty significant leadership change. On the 30th of November 2025, the board of directors made a decision after a lot of discussion to let go of Matthew McGahan from his top roles as Chief Executive Officer, President, Secretary, and Chairman of the Board. This is effective immediately. He will stay on as a director until the company's next shareholder meeting, which is expected before the end of the year. He is also stepping down from any positions he held in the company's subsidiaries. Now, this kind of exit usually comes with a formal agreement, and it seems the company and Mr. McGahan are working on one right now. This agreement will likely cover things like severance pay, how his stock options will be handled, and agreements on keeping things confidential and not speaking negatively about each other. The company plans to file an update once this separation agreement is finalized. But what is a sudden CEO departure without a new interim leader? Effective the same day, the 30th of November 2025, the board appointed Robert Stubblefield to step in as the interim chief executive officer. This interim role is set to last until the 31st of March 2026. Or until they find a permanent replacement. Mr. Stubblefield isn't just filling the CEO's shoes though. He'll also be the interim president and secretary and will take over Mr. McGahan's roles in the company's subsidiaries. And who is Mr. Stubblefield? He is 62 years old and he'll be keeping his day job as the chief financial officer, a role he has held since July 2023. Before this, he was a CFO for various venture capital and private equity backed tech companies, both early stage and those looking to grow. He's got about 18 years of experience in public companies working in senior finance, accounting, and operations. He even helped write policies and procedures for revenue operations in a public software company, all the way back when the Sarbanes-Oxley Act, or SOX, was a big deal. He is also a certified public accountant in California. The filing also notes there are no family ties between Mr. Stubblefield and any current directors or executive officers, and he has no past dealings that need to be disclosed. It is interesting to note that Mr. Stubblefield's compensation for these new interim roles hasn't been set yet. The company will file another report once they agree on the terms of his compensation agreement, but the changes don't stop there. Also effective the 30th of November 2025. Mark Bircham has been elected as the chairman of the board. Mr. Bircham joined the board on May 13th, 2025 as an executive board member, and he also continues in his role as Director of Business Development for sports.com.so. Quite a bit of musical chairs at the top. Let's look at what is actually at play here. Lottery.com Inc. has two main types of securities that are traded. They have common stock, with a very small par value of $0.001 per S-share, and this stock trades under the symbol SEG on the Nasdaq Stock Market LLC. Then they have warrants to purchase one share of common stock, and these warrants come with a pretty hefty exercise price of $2,300. These also trade on the Nasdaq under the ticker symbol LTRU. The fact that these warrants have such a high exercise price suggests they were likely issued in a different context, perhaps a private placement or a specific financing round. And they might not be actively trading or expected to be exercised unless the underlying stock price experiences a massive, and I mean massive, surge much higher than its current trading levels. This also tells us that the company might be looking for a significant boost in its stock price to make these warrants valuable, or they are a legacy item from a previous structure. An interesting little tidbit here is that Lottery.com Incorporated is identifying itself as an emerging growth company. This classification comes with certain regulatory benefits, like being able to delay adoption of new accounting standards. It suggests the company is still relatively young in its public life and is taking advantage of these flexibilities. Now for the analysis, what does all this mean? The departure of a CEO and chairman coupled with the appointment of an interim CEO and a new chairman usually signals a company looking to pivot or perhaps address performance issues. When a company calls for such significant leadership changes, it often indicates a review of strategy or perhaps unmet expectations. The fact that Matthew McGahan is staying on as a director for a while could mean a desire for a smooth transition. Or perhaps the board wants to keep his institutional knowledge on hand. The uncertainty around Mr. Stubblefield's compensation in his interim roles might be a temporary oversight, or it could be a sign that the board is focused on getting the operational changes in place before finalizing the financial details. However, for a chief financial officer taking on more executive responsibility, you'd typically expect compensation discussions to be a priority. Looking at the warrants, the high exercise price of $2,300 is particularly noteworthy. This is not a typical warrant price for a common stock trading at much lower levels. This suggests these warrants are not designed for everyday investors to easily cash in on. It might mean they were part of a larger deal, convertible debt, or structured in a way that only benefits holders if the company's valuation increases dramatically. It raises questions about past financing decisions and how they are structured today. In my opinion, Lottery.com Inc. is in a period of significant transition. The leadership changes suggest the board is actively trying to steer the company in a new direction. The critical question will be whether these new leaders can capitalize on the company's opportunities and address any underlying challenges. The emerging growth company status allows them some breathing room, but ultimately performance will dictate their success. The high exercise price on the warrants is a bit of an outlier and warrants a closer look at the company's historical financing and future capital needs. The immediate focus will be on how the interim CEO and the new chairman stabilize operations and articulate a clear path forward. Alright, that is our breakdown of Lottery.com Incorporated's latest filing. What is your take on these leadership changes and what they might mean for the company's future? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. If you found this analysis valuable, please give this video a thumbs up. It really helps us out, and subscribe for more deep dives into corporate filings. And don't forget to join our Discord community linked in the description. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.